everyone! Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm finally doing a YouTube channel after some years of thinking about it. I thought now with the time of isolation and quarantine that we all have a bit of spare time on our hands. So I thought, why not get this up and going? So I thought actually for a first YouTube video I'd actually do a palette collection and some swatches, because that's probably actually what I mostly watch on YouTube. I find it oddly satisfying, and I thought, why not? Why not for a first video, get away my awkwardness of recording myself on a phone, and yeah, let's get on with it. So my first palette is the Morphe 350. This is the very first Morphe palette I ever bought. I don't use it. I probably haven't used it in about 3 years, but I can't let go of it. I've sort of gone off like the warm tones as well, which is quite shocking because I thought that was probably something I was going to be with the rest of my life, but I have sort of gone off it. But I mean, we just find another palette, you just find better quality. It's not to say that this is a terrible quality, but then I look at this palette and go, I don't need 15 of the same shades, but it's still really nice. I really like these colours. I wish I would play around with it more. I used to like it because that used to be a dupe of one of the Modern Renaissance shades, so I used to like this palette, so I didn't use my Modern Renaissance palette too much. But yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible palette, but I just don't use it. I have 2 drawers of my palettes where it's like my one drawer is like my main palettes, which I know I'll always want to use, and I have another drawer of like stuff I hoard or can't get rid of. But yeah, that was my first Morphe palette, that one, the 350. Next, which I thought was the most beautifulest thing I saw when I bought this palette, is the number 2 3502. I now look at it and go, wow, I don't need 20 shades of the same shades. But it is still really, really nice. I like it a lot. It's not terrible, not too bad. But yeah, don't hardly use it. More recent purchase is the 39S Such a Gem palette. I bought this recently just before we went into lockdown, because it was down to £22, I think it was. And I've eyed this up for a while. I've seen a lot of reviews on it with YouTube, and I'm really into purples at the moment, which I never used to like purple. A lot of people used to say it really suits me, but I never really used to get around to it. But this palette is stunning. Like, not many palettes make me go, oh my god, but this one does. These shades in the middle are like a wet formula. They're really, really stunning. This is probably my favourite purple palette. I do have the Jeffree Star Bloodlust, and I would say I'd probably go for this one more over the Jeffree Star one. So I'll do a couple of swatches. This one I love, that one I love, this one I love. Let's go for purple. Yeah, beautiful. That shade, they're more toppers in the middle. This shade though, in my inner corner, is absolutely stunning. They really come out when you actually put them on your eyes. So yeah, I don't regret buying that. I'm probably going to get a lot of use out of this. Absolutely love it. With the same purchase of the 39S, I got this one, it was on sale as well, went down to £20. I thought, oh, can't even open it. I thought, why not give it a go? I only bought it because it was on offer. I would not pay the full £39 for this palette at all. I've only actually played with it once. I mean, it's okay. I just bought it because I have no self-control. So I hope I get a few more plays out of it, but it's not a palette that makes me want to go and dive into it and actually use it. What should we swatch? Swatch a black. I love blue. And then we'll go for that one. Crumbly, that one, wasn't it? That's really beautiful. I know that's quite a good swatch. I think it's the shade Cola that I think everyone used to have a lot of problems with, or who I reviewed and used to watch. But yeah, I haven't played around with it much. I've done a look with it, but like I said, I don't really scream out to use it. Then have this palette, the OG Jaclyn Hill palette. I love this palette. It doesn't look like it's hardly been used, but it has been used and abused. I am a person that really sticks to their colours, so same with everyone in their palettes, you know, you get the colours that you don't use, and you get the colours that you use so much. But I absolutely love this palette. These colours are stunning. Like, that is heaven. Heaven. This mustard shade is beautiful. I don't know what it's going to swatch. Oh god, I still got eyeshadow on the hand. I need to give it a bit more of a clean. But yeah, absolutely love this palette. I've seen all the controversy about it changing formula. I ain't going to run out of this anytime soon anyway, so I'm not really fussed about buying another palette anytime soon, to be honest with you. Yeah, I absolutely love this palette. I think I waited 3 hours in the Beauty Bay queue for this when it released, so yeah, I was very happy to get it. Next palette is the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2. I absolutely love this palette. I think it's absolutely stunning. It really, like, I look at this palette and I just go, wow, I absolutely love the colour story in this. I actually played with this a lot. I actually draw more to this one than the original now. I think because you've got the range of purples, you've got some oranges, you've got some darker tones, you've got your neutrals, and you've got a bit of everything. This is the best yellow I've ever used as well, hands down. Yeah, just absolutely love this palette. This shade is beautiful. Yellow. Oh, I will admit, yeah, it is crumbly, but the best I've used in my eyes. So, go for that one as well. Swatches don't look that great, but 100% performs 1,000 times better on the eyes. But yeah, I'd 100% recommend this palette. I'll just get another colour palette out the way. This is the Beauty Bay and Mama Mitchell palette. This is so good. This irritates me, but I know it irritates a lot of people as well. But it's just a beautiful palette. I mean, this is another palette that I'm like, this is a bit everything and you don't need another palette. But of course, we've all got palette addictions and it happens. But yeah, these are like wet shades as well. Absolutely stunning. Well, that's a bit more crumbly, I would say. But like, yeah, I'm really surprised that it's like a putty that you can move it, but it's stunning. Let's do another one. Yeah, so you got that. Oh, green comes off so much better on the eyes. But yeah, beautiful palette. I mean, it's 30 quid for all of that. You can't go wrong with it. Yeah, much loved. Okay, let's just get the Jeffree Star collection out of the way. I do own all of his palettes, so I will go through them all. But yeah, I'm going to start off with Blood Sugar. Really, really like this palette. This is I think it's like the original actual first ones that come out. I'm pretty sure I remember I was there for a release day on Beauty Bay. So yeah, it does get a bit irritating. That's actually quite easier for me to open. I normally really struggle opening this. And like, it's coming apart because I'm putting that much pressure on it to open. But yeah, don't need to shine on it. Absolutely love this palette. I will admit, I feel like when you get to here, shades blend in all into one colour. So I sort of feel like I can't get a defined colour, if that makes sense. When I start blending it in, it all just looks like the same colour. But yeah, really, really pretty colours. So do some swatches. I don't use this palette as much. I will admit, Prick is not a good colour at all. It's so hard. I haven't bothered to scrape it just because, well, I still don't feel the need to actually use it sometimes. But yeah, I will admit it does have a hard pan on it. Wow, these swatches are terrible. I mean, it's a really good palette. But yeah, I really like it. I need to play with it more. I think I need to play around with so many palettes, but the problem is I work for a brand, so I don't use my palettes as much because I'm quite loyal to the brand I work for, so I will wear their makeup. So it's the reason I want to do this YouTube part is because I want to get a bit more creative and actually use my palettes, or I'll be taking them to the grave with me because they'll outlive me. So yeah, that's Blood Sugar. Next palette is the most recent release, which is the Bloodlust palette. I mean, I was one of those people that when I saw this, I was a bit like, oh, is that it? But now I've actually played with it more. It is a beautiful palette. Like I said, choosing it over purple, I would go with 39S, 100%. But the colours in here are absolutely stunning. It is a bit of an odd packaging, but I love it. I love the, what is it? It's a crushed velvet. Absolutely love it. So let's do some swatches. So We'll do Jewel, Pink Magic. I love Executioner. I actually did use this. Fallout on it is horrendous, but use it with your finger because you sort of do lose the glitter if you use the brush. And then we're going to go in with Vivid Mood. God, wow, I suck at doing swatches. Don't think I have, like, my hand's getting red from swatching, and, you know, I am a pale gal. So yeah, my hand will get red and irritated because, and plus also with everything that's going on, my hands are ridiculously dry, so they're sore. But yeah, I can't help but hold a palette and swatch. I can't help it, I have to touch it. Don't know why, it's just a thing. But yeah, there's some of the swatches there. Next palette is Blue Blood. This is probably my favourite palette, but it's not a palette I bought straight away. Past recent months, I've actually, you know, really set my mind frame of being like, if you don't need it, you don't need to buy it, Sadie. You don't need it at all. It's really messy because I actually filmed with it last night. But my best friend Jess got me this for Christmas. I can't remember what palettes were gifted to me mostly, but I've only had a couple gifted to me, but that's just because me and my friend Jess always get each other something Jeffree Star related on a birthday or Christmas of stuff we don't have or need doubles of, because we know we love his lipsticks and stuff like that. But yeah, blue is my favourite colour. Absolutely love blue, so I freaked out when this came out. So I'm shocked that I didn't buy it straight away, but hey, I've got it now and I absolutely love it. I will admit, I see a lot of people commenting about these shades. They do work. You just have to make them work. You have to take your time with them, but I absolutely love this palette. So we'll do a couple of swatches. Sorry, you can see my ring light. Hope you don't see me because I look rank. Let's do some swatches. Oh god, I sort of don't want to do this now because I haven't blown stuff away. Don't want the dark colours to get mixed in. Yeah, stunning palette, absolutely love it. Swatches don't do it justice at all, but oh, I love the packaging of this as well. It's just beautiful. Yeah, could never live without this. Alright, Conspiracy, Shane Dawson. I love the packaging. I love the series. I knew Shane Dawson, but he wasn't someone that I was like dedicated to or would watch a load of his videos or anything like that. But the series, honestly, I think everyone can agree that it absolutely like just made you fall in love with this palette. I haven't used it as much as I should have. I think I've used it once since having it. But like I said, I don't really actually buy them to also use them constantly. It's just for me to have it because I have no self-control and I want anything and everything that practically Jeffree Star brings out. But yeah, I actually do really like it. The only look I've done with it is using Flaming Hot Cheese Dust and food videos because I was so excited for food videos. I will admit, it to me on my eyes, I mean I can try it again, so I sort of don't want to give it a justified reason because I haven't played with it a lot, but it just come out like a normal yellow to me personally. But I'm so excited to try these shades because I just think they are stunning. Oh, Diet Cola is just beautiful. Yeah, amazingly pigmented palette though. I can't fault it for its pigmentation. It's really buttery, it's really smooth. I would recommend it, yeah, because I think the colour story is amazing, that you've got your neutrals, pop of colour, and then you've got your more grungier, darker tones. Absolutely love this palette and the packaging. Next up is the Alien palette. This breaks my heart that he's discontinued this. This is my favourite probably palette of his colour story wise. I'm really into greens and grungy colours at the moment, so this speaks to me on another level. And the shades, the shimmers in here are amazing. There's nothing wrong I could probably say about this palette. Yet again, I haven't played with it like I should have, but I love it so much. So don't know why I picked that up with my thumb. This shade is Pluto. I would die if you bought this out in a single highlight. As soon as I swatched this palette in that colour, I was like, this needs to be a highlighter. A Skin Frost. Oh, love that colour. That one's Interstellar. That's such a unique shade. I absolutely love it. That one, rubbish swatch. My hand's still a bit damp, but it comes out much better. It does take a little bit more work like the other palettes, but oh, and Probe. I need to swatch Probe. Oh, beautiful palette. Yeah, I'm heartbroken that this has been discontinued. I haven't looked for another one if someone was selling, but of course people are selling at extortionate prices, so I just have to live with one for now. But yeah, 100% recommend this palette. Really like this palette. I love my colours, but I also still love everyday wearable palettes. So I've always waited for Jeffree to bring out a more wearable palette. You can do whatever you want. Any look is wearable in my eyes, but you get what I mean. So yeah, I really like this palette. I think it blends really nicely. I mean, it's not quality of what Jeffree Star palettes are because it's Morphe, but I really do like this palette. I keep on putting that way too far down. Oh god, I hope you can't see me. But yeah, I love the warm tone shades. I actually like the pressed glitter in here. I haven't played with it, but I mean, it's not terrible. Oh god, I'm making these swatches look shit. Oh, but yeah, really nice. Stunning palette. Beautiful. Oh, look at my hands in rank. But yeah, really like this palette. It did recently go on sale, but I think £35 really good for it, which is what I paid for. And I obviously got 10% off it because it's a Morphe palette. So yeah, need to play around with it more, definitely. Next palette I have is the Jawbreaker palette. I love this palette. Delicious is the best matte navy blue I've ever used. It's better than the Undertaker colour in the Blue Blood palette. I find no issue with this colour at all. I love to use it when I do a blue smoky eye, whatever. But yeah, this palette is absolutely stunning. I think you still have a bit of everything. Yeah, there's no colours in here I don't like at all. God, I'm keep on putting this like all the way down here. What am I doing? So let's do a couple of swatches. Oh, I love this colour. Let's go for another one. Put that one. I hope I don't butcher these swatches. I'm sorry, I have glitter all over my hand now from the Morphe palette. Yeah, it's a phenomenal palette. It's 100% worth it for the money. I love how flat it is. As much as I love like the coffin shapes that he's bought out, whatever, this is easy to store. And like I said, I like when they have the mirror that you can fold all the way back, so you can just pop it down and go on with it and whatever you want to do. Yeah, absolutely adore this palette. Next palette is Thirsty. Same, I like this palette because you can fold it all the way back, the mirror. I will admit, mattes aren't the greatest in this eyeshadow palette. I like it, but I'm not a huge fan of the mattes. But the middle row I love. Don't get me wrong, the glitter does fall down, so you do have to use a glitter glue with them, but they are just beautiful. I love this shade as well. Let's do a matte. But yeah, I love this middle row. I hope you would actually bring more of these out. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I bloody adore them. They're just beautiful. They're proper reflective. I love the silver in this as well. I think is it Lick? Yeah, Lick has a hard pan, so you do have to scrape it, but I am still gutted that he has discontinued this because I still think it's a really nice colourful palette, but yeah, it's not my favourite. Have the Mini Controversy palette. I don't know how I feel about this palette. Love the blues. These blues are stunning. I wish that these two blues were in the Blue Blood palette because I'd probably use this palette more. I'll just swatch them. The reason I'm in an R-in is because I once took that palette to work just to do a quick look in the car. Yeah, these blues don't do it justice. They're absolutely stunning on the lid. And I gotta admit, I didn't like them. I'd done like a natural look, so I used Diet Root Beer, Cry My Couch, and My Boyfriend's Purse. I just don't feel like they performed well. But yeah, I bought this palette because it was more just to have the collection sort of thing. I didn't get the whole collection, but as long as I had the 2 eyeshadows and a mirror, I didn't really care. But I just don't pull for it. I use it more when I do a blue look. I normally use Cancelled and a bit of the Stimulation, but other than that, I like the palette, but it's not something I reach for all the time. Hardly ever, to be honest with you, but I like it in my collection. Next is the Mini Jawbreaker. I love this palette. I don't use it as often as I should, like I said, because I do, obviously I know I'm in isolation now, but you know, I do work full time and I use mostly the eyeshadows that I work for the company. But yeah, I think this was actually the last palette I bought of Jeffree Star's. I think it was one I didn't have because I wasn't fussed on it. When the Jawbreaker collection released, I just got the Jawbreaker. But I've been itching. I was itching to buy it, but I wouldn't justify paying the £27 for it for some reason. And I finally caved when Beauty Pay went 20% off and I had £10 to use on it. So I bought it then and I absolutely love this palette. The shade Oral is stunning. You do have to build it up, I will admit. But yeah. Sorry about my hand, it's getting all red. But yeah, it's a beautiful palette. My swatch is not justifying it, but it does stain when you use the purples, especially Oral. It does stain. But yeah, I really, really love this palette. Next palette is Androgyny. I actually absolutely love this palette. I think it's really underrated from Jeffree. I think a lot of people couldn't make these work and just went, oh, the whole palette is just not worth it. But actually, these are beautiful. This is all I wore at one point. Yeah, let's go for that one. But yeah, I'd probably say this is probably actually my most weird Jeffree Star palette. It doesn't look like it. I've took a big thing in, hit into Charm, but that's about it, to be honest with you. But it's a really, really underrated palette. I don't know where I was going with that. It's beautiful. I actually love these two shades. A lot of people, like I said, can't get on with them. Poison, yeah, I'll admit, I can't get on with Poison. I can't make a good look out of it. These have to have work put into them. But actually, this is probably, apart from that one, I've used and love every single one of these shades. So yeah, I really recommend this palette. I love it. I love the slimness of it as well. And last but not least, I think that's all my Jeffree Star palettes, is the Beauty Colour. I didn't get this when it first came out. I got it quite later on. I was quite disappointed by Rich Bitch. It's very dry, but obviously I get it. It's his first palette. He's obviously really built up from there. Princess I love because it's the same as, oh my god, Princess Cut there, I just can't remember what it's called, which is my favourite Jeffree Star highlighter, which makes me sad when you get the hard pan on it because I adore that. I would wear it every single day if I could. But yeah, I really like it's expensive, yeah, I can't see from here. And Courtney's a beautiful shade to use as a transition shade. Wow. Yeah, they don't do it justice. Like I said, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Next I have the Violet Voss Nicole Concealio palette. This is the only Violet Voss palette I've got because, like I said, I've always looked at them, but I've never gone, nah, I actually won't buy it. I won't spend my money. I'd rather buy it on something else. But I've always wanted the Nicole Concealio because at that time I was into warms. And I actually can believe that it was not last Christmas, Christmas before. I was walking in Boots when they, after Christmas, when they go down to like 50%. This was there. I had no idea Violet Voss was with Boots, and it was in a set with 3 highlighters and a lip gloss. I paid 30 quid for it all. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely chuffed. Do you know what though? I'm not a huge fan of the formula. I had everyone raving about Violet Voss being an amazing pigmentation. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but I've used this twice and I don't think I'd ever use it again, but I can't let go of it because I love it too much. And that's it really. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I really like the palm tree colour. Let's go in with those. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't speak to me anymore as well. That's the problem. I've, like I said, just changed with my colour story. I still use neutral warms, but I also don't at the same time. But I love the packaging of this. Oh, I love holographic. Amazing palette for packaging. But yeah. Too Faced Sweet Peach. This is the only Too Faced palette I own. I did work with a brand once that was involved with Too Faced, so I actually was gifted this one. I love this in the summer when it came out. I love the smell of it. I know it can be overpowering, but I do like the smell of it. It's not made me want to buy anything else from the brand. It's a good palette. I haven't touched it in about 2 years though, but it is really nice. I used to get a lot of compliments when I used to wear it. But yeah, I'm not oh wow, this swatches is rubbish. But yeah, it is a nice palette. You wanted just a subtle bit of colour, I suppose. I love the smell of it. I can smell it from here, but I don't hardly use it. Makeup Revolution Soph palettes. I absolutely love Soph. She's one of the main YouTubers I watch consistently because I just think she's very sweet and a genuine girl. So I was really chuffed when she had her own collaboration. I remember trying to find this palette because I couldn't find it anywhere. This is the, I think it was just Soph palette, wasn't it? I like it, nothing wrong with it. Like I said, she's got so many eyeshadow palettes, I don't dive into it enough. But I really like these shades. We'll go in with, oh, why did I go in with a really dark colour? Never mind. Getting this everywhere. But that palette's like £10. I'm pretty sure I saw it's actually a little bit cheaper at the moment on Revolution because I've been looking at stuff I don't need but I want to buy. Yeah, really good palette, but I just don't use it enough. We've got the Extra Spice. Yeah, again, bought this when warm tones were a humongous thing, but I just haven't used this enough. It is a really nice palette, but I don't know, it's just not something I scream to go to use. The silver's beautiful. I still got dirty fingers on the last one. I haven't wiped this one off. But yeah, I'd 100% recommend it if you were on a budget. But yeah, oh, I won't get rid of these. I really like them. Another palette that I absolutely adore is, this is the only BH Cosmetics palette I own. It's a Shan XO. I really like Shan XO as well. The Remix palette, I never bought the original with the lipsticks, but I will admit, out of every single palette I own, this goes everywhere with me when I go away or travel, because I have everything in it. The quality is really, really nice. You've got your nice neutral side, and then the other side you've got your pops of colours. I actually went on holiday recently and forgot a blush, and the shade Bestie was a beautiful blush for me, and like I said, I'm quite fair. But yeah, this palette is beautiful. Let's do some swatches. Oh god, I am butchering these swatches. But yeah, this goes everywhere. Oh, this goes everywhere with me, and I'm heartbroken that this discontinued this. I would totally buy a second one if I find one, just so I had another backup spare. Except I still don't use it enough, but I love it enough to have another one. Juvia's Place palettes. These both have been gifted to me by my best friend for Christmas and birthdays. I will admit, I did love this one. Like I said, I have sort of fallen out with the colour story. The foils though and the shimmers, I probably will say hands down, Juvia's Place for me personally have been the best shimmers I've ever used. They're really, really affordable palettes. Well, I've put a lot on, really crumbly. But yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. I do like this one, but the colour story, I sort of can't get along with it to always want to make a look with it. And then this one, I bloody adore this palette. I'm so happy Jess you got me this palette. I mean, it's just heaven. It doesn't look like much to you. The mattes in Juvia's Place aren't the best, I would say. They're very pigmented, but there's better mattes out there. But like I said, shimmers, oh my god, they're beautiful. It's made me want to buy more Juvia's Place palettes, but I just haven't got round to it yet. But oh, this blue is phenomenal. Let's just go over and we'll go for, I love this shade as well. These, oh my god, are the most beautiful shimmers. That blue, they're just phenomenal. I absolutely adore this palette. This is another one. Oh, I would buy another one of, hands down, because I love that blue. ABH. I have 4 ABH palettes. I have Modern Renaissance. I've had this for like 5 years. I have used it a lot, but it doesn't look like I've hardly used it because, like I said, palettes come and go. You know, I bought so many other palettes after this. Actually, I didn't buy this. My fiance got me this for an anniversary gift. I do love it, but I just don't go for it. I mean, I just look at other palettes and I just don't gravitate towards it, to be honest with you. That looks rubbish. But yeah, 100%, it's a lovely palette. I mean, it blends beautifully. Like, from what I can remember using it, it's beautiful. So these 3 palettes I've actually only bought, I've never paid full price for them. I've bought them from TK Maxx. Because with ABH, it's like, I love all the palettes they come out with, but it still doesn't make me want to spend my money with them. So I know if they go in TK Maxx, I will then pay the half price, well, not half price, but I will pay, I think I paid £25 for each one of these. That's when I'll pay for an ABH palette. So I bought Prism ages ago. I know a lot of people don't like this. Yes, I haven't hardly used it, but I actually genuinely love the colour story of this. I just find that all the shades unique, and these shimmers are stunning. Let's go for that one. My hand's still wet. So you got those. Oh God, what are those? But they're beautiful. It is a beautiful colour story. I love that pop of like, what is it? Oh my God, I can't remember what it's called. Is it Catrue? Oh my God, I'm not even going to butcher that. That sort of lime iridescent green. I love this palette. I don't use it, but I won't get rid of it because I do love the colour story. Next palette I bought from ABH, well, TK Maxx, was the Riviera palette. I love the colour story of this. I haven't played with it yet, so I haven't really tried it. Like I said, I just haven't had time to. But yeah, I'm so happy I got this. The shimmers in here are beautiful. I just find it's a nice cohesive palette. So yeah, I can't wait to actually play with it at one point. Oh God, I'm butchering these. But yeah, absolutely stunning palette. And then I bought the Alyssa Edwards one. Yeah, again, haven't played with it. I've swatched it. The shade Inspired goes such a long way, but I'm very intrigued to see what the yellow is going to be like. But yeah, like I said, I only ever bought it from TK Maxx. Oh God, that was horrendous. Yeah, so such to say it goes. The yellow does look really good. Oh, hello. But yeah, oh my God, I've just no. Never mind. I'll go in the wash. But yeah, I can't wait to play with it. But yeah. Okay, so the next collection, which is probably my biggest collection, is my Urban Decay palettes. Urban Decay is probably one of my favourite makeup brands. I think they're so underrated. I think I get a bit defensive when people say they don't like Urban anymore. I mean, I get it. I do actually work for Urban Decay. I'm just a counter manager in Debenhams, Hereford. But Urban Decay was the very first brand I ever got into. First eyeshadow palette, I was a typical girl. My first palette was the Naked palette. First foundation I ever bought, expensive, was the Naked Skin. And I've just grown my love for them. Don't get me wrong, I do see why people go a bit iffy with Urban. I do feel like they do lack in some things, but I think a lot of people just see us as an eyeshadow brand, and our whole entire range is like phenomenal. So I wish people would just venture into Urban Decay a little bit more, but no word of a lie, I've probably got about 30 odd palettes, so I'm going to briskly go through this because this is going to take me forever. So my first palette is the Alice in Wonderland palette. I'm not going to bother opening this. This was, I'll never get rid of this. I've never actually put it on my eyes, only because it was gifted to me from my fiance after the birth of our little girl. So this was like his well down for pushing a baby out your clacker present. So yeah, he got me this, so I'll never get rid of it because it holds memories of when I went into Debenhams to buy this to show all my work colleagues my baby. So yeah, I won't swatch it, can't be bothered. On the Run palette, yeah, I did love this at one point. Like I said, I don't use it because it's limited edition. All of these palettes, that I'm going to show you this first round, I don't actually use anymore because, like I said, I work for Urban Decay. I don't put stuff that's limited edition on my eyes to work. So unfortunately, I don't get a lot of use out of all this stuff. I don't get a lot of use out of this stuff because it's limited edition, and I won't use limited edition stuff for work that we don't have anymore. So yeah, it is a shame, but I am an Urban Decay collector. I can't get rid of this stuff because I feel so passionately towards the brand, so I can't get rid of it. But yeah, on the Run palette, had a lip gloss, mascara, and I can't remember I'm sure it was like Stag. That was the pencil that was in there. Cute little palette. I think it's all shimmers, isn't it? Most of these they still sell as singles, so that's the reason I keep it. Sin you can't go wrong with. Big Cowboy. You got Blackout. Oh my god, look at that black. I'm butchering these swatches, by the way. I couldn't even say swatches then. Ultimate Basics. I knew I'd never use this palette because it's too cool tone, but I bought it for the packaging. Discontinued. Smoky. Would never, ever, 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 ever touch this colour story, but I bought it because anything Urban bought out, I bought. I love the packaging of this one though. Yeah. Mini, are they On the Run from the Born to Run palette? Yeah, these are really, really beautiful. That's like a topper. Right, say don't butcher. I still got eyeshadow on from the other one, sorry. Yeah, just nice little handy ones. They have got 2 other different ones I'll show you as well. Another palette I'll never get rid of. Gwen Stefani one. I actually really used to use this all the time when I first bought this, but obviously I don't touch it anymore, but I can't let go of it either. Spectrum palette. I wish that they would bring something out like this again. I do look at it, with this palette I look at it as like, I want that shade, but it's a shimmer and I want it a matte. That's the problem I have, is like every shade I look at, I want it the other way around. Like if it's a shimmer, I want it as a matte. If it's a matte, I want it as a shimmer. But I really do actually like this palette. I wish they would bring something out like this again. Another palette, the mini one. This is a really nice sort of cool neutral sort of tone one. Just do a quick swatches. Yeah, really, really beautiful. These are just so handy. I bought these from my mum because they're just nice and compact and easy to follow. Pulp Fiction. This was used and abused by me. I mean, I smashed it. That shade, I don't hit pan on many, many eyeshadows, but I hit it just very slightly in the middle there. This is probably the butteriest eyeshadow palette that I have felt from Urban Decay. But yeah, that went a long time ago, so it was a collection. Vice 4. Oh, I'm gonna burp. I mean, I like this palette. I wish they had some of these in singles, or they bring out on a different shadow. Like I said, I just love greens at the moment, so I'm really into that. Oh, that grasshopper shade, it's phenomenal. And that one, what's that one called? Is it C note or Arctic? No, Arctic. I wish they had that in a single. But yeah, totally underrated palette. Vice 3, absolutely love this palette. This is probably my most used of the Vice. I don't have most of the Vices anymore, just because I didn't need a need for those ones anymore. And plus I didn't sort of care back then and I got rid of them. But yeah, I really like this palette. My heart with this palette. I never got this when it came out on release. Broke my heart when I actually started work for Urban. It was like there was one of these left in the stock room tucked in at the back, and I was like, oh yes. So I bought it. This palette is beautiful. Yes, it's irritating. I wish it was just neater. But I love Kristen Leanne. I think she's awesome. Very down to it. But these, oh my. Ooh. Oh, butchered that. I want them to collaborate with her again. I think they do an amazing another collection. Game of Thrones. Love-hate relationship. I do like it, but also I just don't gravitate to it. Not my favourite collection ever bought. I always felt like there was some... Oh, God, I just destroyed that. Something missing from this palette, and I don't know what. I just felt like there was something missing. But still beautiful, don't get me wrong. I don't know, I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan either. I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me with that. I watched 2.5 seasons and I quit because I found it boring. Don't hate me. Naked Heat. I do love this palette, don't get me wrong. I still feel like shades sort of still blend in all into each other. It's not one I gravitate to loads to, but I do love wearing this palette. Naked 3. I don't like this palette at all. I mean, I'm biased. I've used this once. because this colour story does not come to me. I'm quite fair, so I just feel like this doesn't suit me. I feel like I look like I got pink eye or something with my eyes, but I will admit the colours are beautiful. I need to play with it more. I think, oh my god, what is that? Just because my hand's all a bit tacky, it's really weird. But I can't let go of it because I collect them. I need to play with it more. Born to Run palette. I adore this palette. Has absolutely everything in there you need. You don't need anything else. I will admit I feel like these two shades are a bit lackluster, but this palette is, you have everything. Big Sky is my favourite colour. And also Wanderlust, that with a smoky eye is stunning. Yeah, you don't need this. I did actually take this away on holiday with me as well because it's got a nice big mirror in it. Don't need anything else. Naked Reloaded. I love this palette. I haven't used it as much as on me, but actually when I'm on counter, this is such a popular palette because you have everything in it. You got your neutrals, you got your daytime, you got your smokies, you got your pop of colour. Pigmentation is beautiful on this as well. I love this shade Endgame. It's literally like the perfect neutral dark brown. But yeah, really adore it. I love the packaging of this as well. Naked Honey. This probably is the best formulated palette that Urban Decay have come out with in a very long time. This is like butter. It blends. I've dropped this from a height so many times as well, and it's saved. I've destroyed this shade Honey because I absolutely love it. Let's go in with some of those. My hand's still wet, so I'm gonna budge these. Oh my god, what was that? Do you know why? It's because I've ruined it. I need to scrape it because I've put too much setting spray on top of it. But it's beautiful. I did record a look with this, but I weren't impressed by the quality of the video I'd done. So yeah, this is a beautiful palette. I didn't actually like it at first. I saw it when it leaked online with Lizzo, and I was like, ah, is that it? But once you have it in person, it's beautiful. I love this palette. It's just beautiful. I love the shade. Is it Thrash? I keep on thinking it's Trash. Just heartbroken that they got rid of this palette. I mean, well, that looks shite, but it does come out so much better on your eyes. Also the silver as well. I need to swatch the silver. Beautiful palette. I'm heartbroken. This will always be with me. I'll take this to my grave. Naked Cherry. I think that this is such an underrated palette. I wish they did have like a one brighter pink in there. Just another bright pink, because I feel like, yes, it's still brightish on the lid. And I get it for most people who don't want that. It's a perfect palette, but I wish, like, for me, it was just like one little pop of colour in there. But this palette is totally underrated. I think people get scared when they look at this. I mean, like, on camera now, it doesn't look that bright, but it is. It's not that bright, but it is. But I think people get scared of it. But it's actually a beautiful wearing palette. I mean, I literally wear this in store, and people can't believe I have it on my eyes because it still looks natural. And I mean, I can go dark, but I use it lightly. But yeah, I do love this palette. Here she is. My used and abused Naked palette. I bought this when I was 17, which was 8 years ago. Like I said, not many pans I go hard on. That was almost hit pan. I didn't really go into more of these colours, but God, I love these colours. I can still wear this because they do these in singles. But yeah, I'm also heartbroken. I get it, times change, you need to do new stuff, but I think people would still buy this palette. Naked 2, I've never hardly used it, only because I'm not a cool tone person, but I love it for the shimmers because, again, they do these shimmers in singles, so I can wear it in work because it has been discontinued. Oh my god, what am I doing with these swatches? But yeah, it is a beautiful palette for shimmers, but not something I gravitate to. Here's the other On the Run palette. I adore this palette because, one, it's got like the perfect warm tone because they're not super strong in orange, and then they've got a blue and a lighter blue. It's just stunning. I love wearing this palette. It goes so well all together, like the warm tone with the blue. So yeah, I love this. Random singles I got, because you see how much I love it, because I've got a moon dust in here, which is called Cosmic, which is heaven. It's more of an eyeshadow topper, but you can use it by itself. That is Naked. Single, that is Bucked Single. That is Polyester Pride Single, and that is Virgin. So those three are from the Naked palette, the original, because I loved it that much. And that's a sample shade of Fireball. Wired palette. Oh, hello. I do like this palette. I don't think it lives up to the original though, but I do really love this palette. This shade Current is beautiful, and Gravity I really like, and I like this one. Oh, hello, where are you? Oh, yeah, really good. I do like it, but my heart will always probably still stay with the Electric palette. Just have a single, which is Space Cowboy, which is another moon dust. Heaven. And lastly, I've got the Moon Dust palette. This has actually been dove into loads, but it doesn't look like I've actually ever touched it. But these are beautiful on top of eyeshadows or by themselves. This is so popular with children as well. I put these on my daughter all the time because she absolutely loves glitter and the sparkle. So they're just heaven on top of an eyeshadow. Thank God I've only got a couple of more eyeshadows left. So, phew, this video's taken me so long to film. I've got the Revolution, I can't remember what it's called. Is it just Iconic Division? Because I know they're all reloaded palettes. I bought this because one, it's cheap, and it's a dupe for the Subculture. I've never actually played with it. I've had this for about 3 years now. I'm meaning to get rid of it. It's only just because obviously we haven't seen family and friends to pass this along to. But, I mean, it's okay. Shade and Light palette from Kat Von D and Russ. This was gifted to me for my birthday from my friend Jess. Do you know what? Besides, take away all the controversy that's happened, when Kat Von D launched, I genuinely thought that that was a brand I was literally going to stick to because it's my aesthetic, but I've never bought anything from it. It still didn't make me want to spend my money. I don't know why. This has also been dropped from Height. These are really beautiful buttery shades, but I just don't use it. Sorry, Jess. It is beautiful when I've used it, but it's not something I instantly want to go to and be like, I want to use this palette. I have a Makeup Obsession single, like put together palette. It looks minging because I don't use it anymore. I sort of gifted it to my daughter, who's 4, did I mention, who literally ruined these with a brush, literally like scrapes them in and puts them on her eyes. They're really nice, don't get me wrong, they're very cheap and affordable. Oh god. But I just don't go to it anymore. I just thought I think it literally cost me like 16 quid to make this whole entire palette, and because I don't use it, my daughter loves eyeshadow, so I'd rather her touch this one than my other ones. This is the Toy, oh my god, I don't know if I just butchered her name then, Lottie London palette. I'm all for supporting YouTubers that I like. I've used this once, I haven't touched it, only because these came out a different colour on my lids. And I don't know why, but the shimmers are stunning in this palette. Don't butcher it, don't butcher it. Oh, so I butchered it, it's okay. Yeah, it is a beautiful palette. It's very nice and cheap and cheerful, but these colours just didn't come up what they did in the pan of my eyes. Another Reloaded palette. This is the, yeah, it must be neutrals too. Yeah, again, oh god, that's dirty. I don't need it. There's nothing wrong with it. I've used it. I've actually used the white in this loads. It's got a big dip in it, but not so dropped. But I just don't need it. I've got loads of colours. This is one. The only reason I've kept it is because I haven't seen anyone that I want, that I know. I want to give it to my niece. I just haven't had time to give it to her. Please don't judge me. This is the Sleek Rio limited edition. This came out about 6 years ago. I can't let go of it because the shimmers in here are amazing for Sleek. Sleek, I don't have anything else Sleek. It's just because it's not a brand that I scream towards. That's horrendous swatching. I'm so sorry. I need to do that better. Yeah, I can't let go of this. And I think because I done a look on it, and like Nick Chapman from Pixie Woo retweeted it and said it was lovely, and I was like, oh my god. So it just holds memory that every time I look at this I go, oh, that was a nice time. It's a horrendous photo. I thought that was amazing, that makeup. Now I look back and I'm like, oh, what was I doing? These are These are Cryolan palettes. I got these when I was doing college. I was doing level 3 diploma makeup. That broke because I used it so much on my brows because it was a perfect colour. I never use these. I don't like them. I'll just get the other palette out as well. These, I mean, this shade's beautiful actually. I will admit that. It's very pretty. Don't see me. The only reason I haven't got rid of it, one, it's memories. I mean, you can see I butchered it in college, so I just didn't have a clue what I was doing. But the only reason I've never got rid of them is because I know that I would never buy them again, if that makes sense. I would never fork out money for these palettes. I mean, I don't know if Cryolan's formula has changed dramatically. But yeah, I can't let go of them because they're memories. I mean, look at the state of them. I used to put glue and everything on top of them. My name's on them. But I can't let go of them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that is all my palettes. So that's it, guys. I don't know how many eyeshadow palettes I've got. I also can't be bothered to count them. I know I've got about 60 odd last time I counted. I'd probably maybe even go towards 70. But I'm not sure. I mean, if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. I love doing these videos, so I might do a declutter soon. But yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll put my name anywhere. It'll be in the description box as well. Please subscribe. It'll help me out a lot as I'm just starting out in YouTube. You'll see a lot of creative looks from me. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it gave you some insight, and I hope it just give you some form of pleasure like I do. I just love watching people swatch eyeshadow palettes. So yeah, thank you. Give it a like, give me a subscribe. It'd help me out a lot, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.